Evening, good evening, good evening, everybody. It's your girl, Miss Ehi, coming live from Mobile, Alabama. Now, I'm going to have to say that again in just a minute because we're going to be going live on TikTok for the first time. But welcome to Journey with Trish. All right, so I'm going to count it down and then we're going to say that again. Good evening, everybody. It's your girl, Miss Ehi, coming live from Mobile, Alabama with our second episode this fall of Journey with Trish. And it's going to be a really exciting episode. I got some cool friends with me tonight. One over here who I'll let introduce herself in a minute is Miss Shamiko Barron.
That's me.
And then we'll have somebody else. So just running a little bit late because she's coming in from Mississippi. Her name is Alicia Dawn, and she'll be joining us as well. Let me go ahead and give you my medical disclaimers. Neither myself, Journey with Trish, Ihada Jimenez, Patricia Reed, any affiliates that we're associated with are here to give you any type of medical advice. If you're having any type of medical emergency, I would defer you to your nearest emergency room or contact your primary care provider. How you doing?
I'm good.
Good. So tonight we're having our, how did I say it? You've been authorized. You like that? That was cute, right?
That was
cute.
Very cute.
You've been authorized, and we're going to be talking to some Black women boss writers tonight. So we're going to start with Miss Shamiko. Tell them all. Don't get into your writing yet. Just tell them a little bit about you first.
Okay, my name is Shamiko Barron, and I am the creator and founder of New Minds Mentorship Program. I'm also the founder of She's Bossy by Shamiko. I work with youth girls with New Minds and She's Bossy by Shamiko. I help other women who want to become authors and market their book and how to get started.
Okay. I'm very, very excited to talk to you about all of those tonight. I don't think I knew that you were as involved. I knew about New Minds.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit more about New Minds. And for those of you who are joining for the first time tonight on Spotify, Google Podcasts, or TikTok, Journey with Trish is a podcast that takes everyday topics and we relate them to mental health. So tonight we're going to be talking with authors because, in case you didn't know, reading and writing is definitely a great coping mechanism. If you're ever going through any type of stress, anxiety, or depression, we're always gonna, encourage you to journal. So tell us a little bit first, though, about New Minds.
Okay, so New Minds established in 2017. I created a youth mentorship program because I was inspired by the Boys and Girls Club. I was a member of the Kiwanis branch here in Crichton. And I was thinking to myself, how cool would it be to create something similar to that, as I got older, because I remember the contribution in my life. So I created New Minds Mentorship Program with a more of a focus on not just educational, but emotional, social development, for young ladies. Because one of the things that as far as the Boys and Girls Club, we did sports and we did a whole bunch of things, but I felt like I still suffer kind of from stuff like social anxiety and just some other things. So that's kind of where the New Minds name came from, kind of to focus more on that emotional, personal, and social development. And as Trish said, I'm not a mental health provider. I'm not a counselor, therapist. I am just a mentor. But yes, I work with strictly girls. I started out as co-ed, but now I just realized my niche is young ladies. So that's what I do. I have different workshops, events, and courses just to teach girls about different things. I also have one coming up teaching them how to find their tribe, how to build friendships on August the 15th. So yes.
So important. So tell them the ages that you work with New Minds and how they can get in contact.
Okay, the age as far as New Minds is 10 to 16. I can be found on Instagram at New Minds, and that's MINDZ 17. Also, we're on Facebook, New Minds Mentorship Program, LLC. As I mentioned, is MINDZ. And we help, all the young ladies, I focus on 10 to 16, but I've also, helped young ladies that are 17, 18, young adults as well. So that's how you can get in touch with me. And we're on TikTok, New Minds 17.
You guys, when it's no secret. We all know that children definitely are our future. We have to pour into our children because our children are what's going to continue to when we create these legacies, when we create these legacies for our children, because our children will then have to go on and continue to be leaders. So I appreciate you and everything you're doing in the community for our girls.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
All right, so let's get into this writing. How did you become? Let me see that over there, please. How did you become a writer?
I tell people I became a writer by mistake. And somebody say it wasn't by mistake; it was all designed.
Mhm.
Well, a young lady, actually, my book coach, Shatara, some years ago, she was gonna host an event about mental health and depression and something like that.
Mhm.
So she was looking for speakers, and I wrote in the comments, I was like, hey, I've suffered from depression and stuff like this. I would like to be a speaker. And I remember Shatara texted me and she was like, oh my God, you've dealt with depression and anxiety. And she said, but you're so beautiful. You're this, you're that. And so basically, I was preparing a speech for
Mhm.
this particular event. And she ended up canceling the event for whatever reason. But I had wrote this speech.
Mhm.
So I said, I'm going to keep writing.
Keep writing.
I'm keep
Wow.
writing, and that's how the book came. I didn't want to throw away my speech. It became a book.
Here's the book. Hello, come on in. Here is the book. This is, and I'll post a copy of it later on and also a link we'll put down in the comments so you can get you a copy of, you see that? The Lemon Spirit, Living, Coping, and Overcoming Anxiety by Shamiko Bryan. All right, so our other guest has joined us. Get some, there we go. So our other guest has joined us, and she is real. Hello, let me tell y'all.
Hey.
So this is Alicia. Is it? Do I call you Alicia Dawn or just Alicia?
Alicia.
Alicia reached out to me on Messenger, maybe probably back in February. I had just started the podcast, and when they tell you about people believing in you more than you believe in yourself, because I was like, why is she talking about she want to come on the podcast? She don't even know me, you know?
Yeah.
And so I was like, this got to be a scammer because what? I got like 3 viewers. Now, why she want to come on the podcast? So for all this time, I thought that you were a scammer. But then I kept, I follow your page, and every once in a while we would connect. Then I would get scared again. Then I was like, well, let's meet for coffee at Starbucks or something. But y'all, Alicia is real. She is not a scammer. Tell them a little bit about yourself.
Okay, well, my name is Alicia Bender, but I actually penned by Alicia Dawn. I have written 12 books, and I just finished my first feature film.
I'm excited about the film that's coming up.
So you got to have us back for that.
Oh, absolutely. We'll bring back the whole cast.
Okay.
That's going to be fun. So how did you get into writing in the beginning?
So for me, writing being an author, let me say that, was never a dream of mine, ever. Because I have friends that have been writing in notebooks before we had all technology. They used to write books in notebooks. For me, I always liked creative writing, but theater, acting, music, that was my thing. And as life progressed, became a teenage mom, and I was like, okay, I guess I'm just gonna be a 9-to-5 person, And so through becoming friends with my publisher, Twala T, she hosts a Mississippi Urban Book Fest every year for urban authors.
Mm-hmm.
And just seeing them do that inspired me. And I'm like, okay, I'm sitting on all this talent. Let me just do something with it. So I submitted her some work, and she signed me for a 3-book contract, and 12 books later, here I am.
And you work full time?
Yes.
You work full time?
I sure do.
Okay. Y'all, I told both of you, I've been working on this book of mine for God knows how long. Where do y'all find the time? How do you make yourself sit down and write outside of all the things that you have going on in your life?
I set a dedicated time when I was working on my book, and I'm actually working on another one. I have a designated day and time for these 2 hours or this hour. I'm going to write,
Mhm.
and that's what I do. I give myself an assigned time to do that.
Same for you.
For me, it's like therapy. So whenever I'm really down or whenever I'm really going through a lot, I just kind of dig into it. I don't give myself a time. I wish I was organized like that, but I really don't. It's just whenever I'm in that mood and I just write and I like write obsessively.
Mhm.
Just don't stop writing.
So, how long did it take you to write these 12 books?
It depends. Normally about 3 weeks to write a
You
book.
write a whole book in 3
Yes,
weeks, and it's
yes,
been
'cause
3 years for
Oh
me.
wow!
I'm serious. I dive in it like crazy. Now, my book that I dropped in May, it took me about 4 months because I was doing all my filming,
Hmm.
but about three weeks.
So, how did that come about? Where you actually became a writer, director, producer, Miss Tyler, Miss Perry? I called you.
I mean, I'm gonna claim it. I'm gonna claim it, but it's something like I said I wanted to do since I was a kid. I always wanted to write and act,
Mhm.
and what better way than to just start your own? And it was God really orchestrated it. Can we go there?
Oh,
Yes,
oh,
yes.
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
absolutely.
Okay.
That's what we do.
But yes, he really orchestrated this for me because that's a whole nother story for a whole nother day. But like I said, everything just came into play. Like I just started meeting people, and people don't understand the power of networking. Sometimes, we think, oh, I need this money, and if I get this money and this investor, this, that, and the third, but people are resources as well. And
Mhm.
so
Yes.
it's just like I met the right people at the right
At the
time.
right time. I actually wrote a play before. I wrote a play for my was I in 6th grade or 7th grade? It was called Enough is Enough, and it was like for a Black History Month program. And I wrote it. I gave it to my teacher, and we ended up doing a whole program
I
around
love
it.
it.
Yeah, I've always loved to write. I've started several books in my lifetime, but my attention span is like smaller than. And that, I tell everybody this is the most consistent. This podcast is the most consistent I've been with anything. I mean, work, but outside of work, this has been other than having babies, the most consistent I've ever been.
You should have a book. You have great information. You share great information.
I'm working on it. So thank y'all for inspiring me. I'm gonna come talk to you about your mentorship program. So tell me, what's of you though have a book that came? Didn't you just publish another book?
I also have another book. I have for my mentorship. I actually have Queen Energy, which is a self-esteem journal for young ladies, and I also just did an ebook. As I mentioned, I help women who want to become authors, and I kind of have a self guide. Like if you don't want me to go over things with you, if you just want to kind of direct yourself. For that process, I did an ebook called The Writer's Block.
That's what I'm thinking.
So
of.
that is the ebook I just released a couple weeks ago. It is.
Okay,
That's awesome.
Okay. And I told you, I think that we should all get together and I want to have a work day, right? And even though I'm going to plan it and pretend like it's for everybody else, it's actually because I need somebody else to be sitting there saying, "Hey, what you doing? Get off your phone. You're supposed to be
Writing.
You're supposed to be writing." So I would love to do like a work day, something like that.
That sounds good. Sip and read, sip and
Ready,
write.
sip and
or something.
that's it.
Don't take my idea
Don't-
now. I'm just playing.
That's what we're going to sip and write. We see it out there. We already got a trademark. We just didn't tell y'all. Don't try this at home. Have you ever done a work day with others, or you just always work by yourself?
I did a collaboration with one of my pen sisters. We're signed to the same publisher. But no, I've never just done that.
I have a cousin who, when I tell you my cousin is a reader, I've never seen. I know people read, but my cousin literally, like we tell her when we go on vacation, like we didn't come on vacation for you to sit. Like you're not taking the book to the club. You're not taking the book to the bar. And she has built bookshelves in her house before and torn them down. And she will fill up these bookshelves with like hundreds and hundreds, and then take them out, read them over, or go buy more. She just loves to read, and she travels like to all different kinds of places for book conventions and stuff like that. So it's writing is now. Tell me how writing has helped you though for somebody who out there who may be struggling with depression or anxiety, tell us some of the things, like how do you write when you're writing for those things? Not writing because you're trying to educate, but if you were writing because you were using it as a coping mechanism, some of the things, how do you write?
I was using it as a coping. If anybody's seen a therapist or ever heard from one, therapists are really big on journaling and things like that. And I actually see why, because even when I was writing my book, and like I said originally, it was just me writing to tell a little speech. But I realized that I was healing some things, and I, kind of revealed some things or put some things on paper that I had been holding in about certain issues with my anxiety and depression, even a few things that from my childhood that kind of affected me. So, yes.
Because like I said, I've always been a writer, and I've always used it. Even before I knew it was really journaling, I was writing, and I've always written letters. You see me on Facebook, I'd be like, "Dear God," or "Dear Mom." If I were to go and wanted to say something to you or praise you or celebrate you, I would probably start with "Dear Alicia." Writing has always been something that I've used to cope. Now I remember when I got to college or high school, when they told us about the unsent letters. You know what an unsent letter is? So an unsent letter is a letter that you write to someone that you are in a disagreement with, upset with, maybe have had a bad relationship before. But the idea is that you get this pen and paper or sit down at your computer and you write exactly how you feel. I mean, if you want to curse them out, you do whatever you want and put it in that letter, right? But then you are supposed to burn the letter or throw the letter away or rip the letter up. Honey, I kept sending the letters.
I was about to say, I'll send it. I feel like
I did those letters. I haven't sent it or set on fire, but I have wrote the first time I ever saw a counselor. It was some issues at work, and he told me to take that person's name that did whatever they did and write a letter telling them exactly how you feel about the situation. It was very good.
It really did. Yeah, and it helps a lot more too when you don't send them.
Yes.
Yeah. When you don't send them, because you should write them, and then if possible you should still go have a conversation with them. But the idea is that all of the negative energy part of it in that letter, you've poured it into that letter, and so now I can come sit down with you, Alicia, and we can have a good conversation without having an argument. Is the goal. Unsent letters, everybody. If you are dealing with any type of emotional trauma, stress, if you're upset with somebody, unsent letters are a great way to document. Poetry. Anybody here write poetry?
No.
I have did some poems, but they on my computer. I can't get to it. Just stuff when I was like sad or something like that. But I ain't finna say I'm no poet for real, but I got a few poems.
I know. My mom had me write a poem for my uncle's obituary, and I'm like, girl, okay, this is not it. But it was pretty good. Okay, maybe I can do that.
And one of the reasons why I think when I start writing, why I get so frustrated and stop, because is anybody else here long-winded when it comes to writing?
I wouldn't say I'm long-winded. I don't know.
When it comes to talking, yeah, but
not writing. I am I'm as far as sitting. I mean, y'all see my post. Like
I was finna say, I know your post, baby. Yeah. I already know this finna be a chapter.
But that's good though, because you'll get a lot of page reads on Amazon, and then you'll like charts, and I'm like one or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the more page reads you have, and
the pages in the book,
right? So you get paid for like every page read.
That's information, y'all. Yeah, so you get paid per page on Amazon?
Per page read, yeah.
Per page? Oh, wow. Never knew that. Y'all didn't either, probably. That was good information. Write that down.
So go ahead and write you a long book.
Write me a long book. So when I was in school, we had to write essays or something. I was the reason my teacher would put no more than 3 pages.
Wow.
Because I don't care what it's about. I can write and write and write. I enjoy it, but it does become such a task. And I'm also a perfectionist. So it has to sound right to me when I'm writing it. So I may, given you would never believe how long it takes me to write my blog in the morning. I wouldn't even
How
tell you.
long?
It takes at least 30, 45 minutes to write those 7 sentences.
I don't know. But
Because
you know what?
I
You're a
write it.
perfectionist.
I am.
Yeah.
And like I want to. I love the sound of words.
Mhm.
You know, I love big
Mhm.
words. I love vocabulary. I've always loved English. So I enjoy writing. All right. So you don't have any children.
I don't have any children that I know about. No.
Do you have children?
I do.
How old are your children?
15 and 5.
Do they write?
No.
Do they read?
My 5-year-old's imaginary is like beyond imaginary. I don't know what you want to call it, but I think she's going to be
A writer.
probably.
Okay.
And then, but my oldest, she loves music. She's really into music and art, like visual art. So
I wish I had a teacher here that I could ask, and maybe you guys may know, but I wonder if children do read as much as we used to read now that we have all of these digital, outside of what they're forced to read in school. How many children still enjoy a good book? Anybody else? What was your favorite book in childhood?
Ooh. I can't think. Come back to me on that one.
Okay. Do you remember what your favorite book was?
the Boxcar Children. I don't even know how, but yeah.
I'm back. We only got 2 people here.
Yeah. All I can tell you is the books I used to read. That's so funny. I don't know if anybody remembers the Babysitters Club,
Yeah.
the series.
Yeah.
I used to read those books.
So my favorite book, and it just made a movie, and I still haven't gone to see it. It was "Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret." Nobody else ever read that book.
I've heard that before, but I have not read it.
Judy Blume. When I don't know how old y'all are. But
I know that. I know that. Yes, I know the
and
name Judy.
they actually made the book into a movie, so I want to go see. It's like a coming into puberty, pubescence. How do you say it? Movie. She was like, about to get her period, and
Mhm.
Liking boys, and so it was just a good book. I loved it. I bought it for all my children, and then when I got older, how about your favorite high school book? Do you remember that?
Favorite high school
Like
book?
a classic. What's your favorite? Do you have a favorite classic
A favorite classic book or movie?
book?
No, I just can't think. It was high school. I wasn't thinking about books, reading.
I know, right?
So y'all like writing, but do y'all do a whole lot of reading?
But you know what?
I
I
do.
do
You do.
reading.
Mhm.
I
I
do
do.
a lot of self-help, inspirational,
Okay.
encouraging. And now, since I have a business, I read, certain books about marketing and
Mhm.
things like that.
So my I had 2. It was going to be I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings.
Mm.
Was an awesome book by Alice Walker, and then Black Boy by Richard Wright. If y'all have never read Black Boy, it was such a good movie. It was about a young man who was also coming into age, and it was back in the, I don't know, probably maybe the 30s or 40s, and dealing with racism and leaving home and riding the train in New York. It was a good book, Black Boy by Richard Wright, and then of course I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings, and that's a book that was full of trauma.
Mhm.
And then didn't they make that into a movie too?
I can't remember, but I have read parts of that book.
I think that was the one Halle Berry may have done. Anyway, so we talked about. I want to know about. Can you tell us just a little tidbit, so they know what to come back and watch as far as your movie? Tell them the name of it and stuff.
Oh, yeah. It's Beyond the Label. And I'm in Alabama, so I don't want y'all to tussle with me now. But, Mississippi, the great state of Mississippi, I have to put on for the sip. But so it's a Mississippi-based film about 2 siblings who inherit a record label from their deceased their father after he passes away, and just going through their day-to-day life of trying to keep everything together.
Okay. And so when can we expect this movie approximately?
I'm hoping later November, December. We are set to do a premiere October 28th in Hattiesburg, Mississippi. So I want you to come.
I will be there.
awesome.
But yeah, so
I will be there. So write that down, y'all. Beyond the Label is going to be coming out in December of this year, and it is based on some Mississippi folks.
Yeah, we got Mississippi music. We've got Mississippi artists as far as paintings and sculptures. We've got Mississippi clothing lines. I mean, everything in it is Mississippi.
Oh, well, what a good way to bring
Yeah.
put, like you said, put it on for your city.
Yeah. Put on for the sip.
Is anybody y'all gonna be at anybody go to the casino at all in the movie? No casino.
See, because I wouldn't have got it done. I would have been at the blackjack table.
All right. So, do you read while you're working out ever?
Do I read while I'm working out? No, I don't read while I'm working out. I read late at night when I get in the bed. Kind of put my books in the bed. And you would think I'm finna get ready to go to sleep, but I do my best reading at nighttime.
And a lot of people do. And I always say, listen, if you want a good night's sleep, start reading the Bible.
Yeah, I've heard that one.
Start reading the Bible. It will put you to sleep every single time. If you don't want to go to sleep, please don't start in the Old Testament. If you read the Old Testament at nighttime, you ain't gonna make it. You got to read that in the day when you're fresh and energized.
Yeah.
So, what are some of your other hobbies outside of writing?
Really, that's about it. Just writing, being a mom, spending time with my family. I need to find some other type of outlet, though. I really do, because I really don't have one. So that's sad, but yeah, I need to find something.
So you don't, do you have any like author friend groups that y'all go out together or?
No. But my publisher is planning a retreat for all of her authors.
Nice.
And she's taking us to Destin, Florida next month. Hopefully I can make it. But yeah, but we do have a great relationship, great chemistry.
That's awesome.
We call them pen sisters because we're signed to the same publisher.
Now, are all of you from Mississippi?
No, Chicago, Florida, Detroit, Virginia, everywhere. I think maybe it's only two of us. We have one in Tuscaloosa. It's maybe just two of us in Mississippi.
Now, did you say you're a mentor as well? No, but you're no. Twyla is though. She has a mentorship program too, or no?
No. We did start like a Juneteenth festival that we do in our hometown. So this was our third year doing it. So that I like to, do events and put things together. But as far as she actually does have her master's art specialist in counseling. So she would actually be a good person to, have on. She has so many jewels she can give.
And you said she lives in Mississippi?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So what else? What else you gotta say about your book?
It's just a great book. The Lemon Spirit.
Favorite chapter?
Ooh, my favorite chapter is probably like the last chapter because it was just reflecting, kind of on what the things I've been through and also reflecting on, some of us that does deal with mental health sometimes is a ongoing journey.
Mm-hmm.
And so even though I say living, coping, and overcoming anxiety, sometimes it's a cycle. I live, cope, and I overcome. I go through that season and I might have to go through another season of living, coping, and overcoming. So I would probably say the end, and just kind of how I deal with things and stuff like that. And the thing is, once you've dealt with it before, you learn new skills and new things all the time, so yes.
How old were you when you, as far back as you remember, when did you start recognizing the anxiety?
Oh, I didn't start recognizing anxiety until I was an adult, and it might have been like I'm 42 right now, so it might have been maybe 35. That was my bout. I didn't know it was anxiety. I said it was depression, but the doctor said no. It sounds like you have anxiety. Okay. So that was my first time dealing with that.
Are you comfortable kind of talking about the nature of like what were your anxiety symptoms? And you don't have to, but
yeah, I've never had. I know a lot of people that say that has the anxiety, like the what do you call it? The hyperventilating, like the panic.
Like panic attacks?
I don't have panic attacks, but I have. You know how they say an overthinker?
Mm-hmm.
I have like general anxiety disorder, so I am a chronic worrier. Mm-hmm. Like I actually have a mental checklist. Like, okay, I scratched all the things. Like I've even had days when I'm like, what am I supposed to be anxious about? Like, I know there's something, and there's absolutely nothing to be anxious about. I even had a friend, he tells me, he was like, even when everything is fine, you will find something
to be anxious about. And
to be anxious about.
I tell people all the time, patients all the time, when you are, again, this is not medical advice, when you are used to, when you've lived with anxiety for a very long time, it's like natural to you. So you think that people that aren't anxious, they're the ones that aren't normal, because why are you not freaking out? Why are you so calm? And so when they come and they get treatment, whether it be therapy or medication, and now all of a sudden they don't feel that, it's almost scary, because that anxiety has become your defense mechanism.
Yes.
And so now that you don't have that defense mechanism, you're like, you're not comfortable. You feel like you're not safe. And so, you'll hear your therapist or provider tell you things like, tell yourself, well, I'm here, I'm safe, things that may have happened to somebody else and you're worried about it happening to you. You have to know, that was so-and-so, but this is Trish. No, I'm Trish, and I'm here and I'm fine. Everything is okay. Nothing's going to happen to me. It's hard. Have you ever dealt with any type of anxiety?
Yes. I was an adult, like she said, when I even realized what it was.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times in our families, they don't like to talk about it. I remember being little and my grandma would be like, I got to take my nerve tablets, and I never knew what that was, but it's something that my family dealt with. And for me, I had the attack. I thought I was having like a stroke or a heart attack. I didn't know what was going on. And I couldn't even walk. I had to get wheeled into the emergency room. And then that was when I found out that it was anxiety. So yeah, it can be very crippling. Mm-hmm. I have come a long way from that. Mm-hmm. But like she said, it's a daily struggle. It's a daily battle.
Anxiety can just look like so much, you guys. It can be like, I've had people who, are driving and they start having these panic attacks, and your fingers might get numb, or your fingers might get, kind of like curl up, and you can't move them. Because your body becomes so tense. All of that can be signs and symptoms of a panic attack. You might start having chest pain. You think you're having a heart attack, and then you go to the doctor and they run all these tests and they say, no, you're not having a heart attack. You're having, a panic attack. Mm-hmm. So it's nothing new. I tell everybody. And the thing is, everything just like depression, everything in your life can be fine. Mm-hmm. And you can still struggle with anxiety out of nowhere. You talk about overthinking or worrying about things that you have no control over. There's nothing you can do to change it today or tomorrow, but you're worrying about it. And it can be like the smallest things, and you just ruminate. It just keeps going on in your mind, and you just can't get it to, like, can't let it go, right? Mm-hmm. You can't get over it. You can't let it go. You're always thinking about it. And now you're anxious, you're panicking, your heart may be beating fast, your blood pressure may go up, or it mm-hmm. may go down if your heart rate, gets high enough. You may have headaches. Some people sweat, mm-hmm. Diaphoresis. There are so many symptoms. So if you're having any of those, definitely reach out to your primary care provider. That is always going to be your quarterback, is what I call them. They can treat you for any of those symptoms, or they can refer you out for any of those symptoms. And then also there are therapists that we have here in Mobile County are going to be Eunice Mingo with ECM Counseling, Afia, I can't ever think of
Afia Hooker.
Afia Hooker with is it still Sunshine?
Is she's with the Yin Yang? She has Sunshine Haven.
And then it's Yin Yang
Wellness Center.
Okay.
I think, yes.
I'm gonna post these links down in the comments later on today. And there's a lot of therapists. Now, here's the thing. Unfortunately, if you live in Baldwin County, there are not any that I know of right now that are Black or African American in Baldwin County. I don't know a whole lot about any therapists in Mississippi. I get it.
Can I shout out one?
Yeah, absolutely.
Shayna Barr, she's actually one of my pen sisters too. She writes as well, and she She's a licensed therapist. She has her own company. She's accepts a lot of different insurances. So that's Shayna, Shania bar BAR.
And reach out to her. She may even be licensed. A lot of people are doing telehealth and they're licensed in more than one state. So we're going to make sure we go ahead and put these resources in the comments for you guys tonight in case you need to reach out to someone. And what I was going to say is it is okay that you want to see some people are comfortable with seeing anybody. Some people just naturally want to see somebody that looks like them because you feel like they'll better understand what you're going through. That is totally fine, and don't let anybody tell you that that's not okay. Now, do I have some therapist friends who are not women of color? Absolutely. Are they excellent therapists? They rock. They really do. And I'm happy to give those resources. I will put some in the comments as well. But make sure you don't sit on that, because there is help. You can learn these little coping mechanisms like writing, that can help you, and you not even have to take any medicine. Maybe. But if you do, don't be so opposed to it. Any of your children have anxiety?
Not that I'm aware of, and I hope they don't ever have to experience it. But one thing about it, I will be open and honest and more transparent than I think our parents and grandparents were with us if they do deal with it.
And they really didn't know a lot about it. They were more embarrassed about things that they were going through back then. They called them nervous breakdowns, and auntie may have went to the hospital and stayed for a little while, your cousin, because they had a nervous breakdown. But all of those are going to be, and it could have been anxiety. Sometimes they're things like mania, bipolar disorder. There's so many different diagnoses, but one thing is for certain, all of them can be addressed if you go to a doctor, a therapist, and just start. We talk about self-care and self-love.
Yes.
So we got to start doing a better job at taking care of ourselves as a whole, more holistic wellness. Address your physical health, address your mental health, address your spiritual health. Just be overall healthy. I did want to talk some, and that's why I asked about the kids, because I know that school just started. So I just wanted to kind of throw out some things that you can do with children, or things to look for with children when it comes to anxiety. Oldest children, a lot of times they are the ones who I see that have the most anxiety, especially if mom or dad work outside the home and work a lot, and they have to babysit, their siblings a lot. If they're responsible for them, it brings a lot of stress on them. They become worriers. They are the ones who you find double locking the doors a few times, checking to make sure the water is off. But then they go to school, they can do okay at home when in their safe place, but they go to school and they're calling somebody to pick them up. If your child goes to school and then nothing is wrong with them physically, but they're frequently calling somebody or going to the nurse's office, please talk to your provider about that as well, because it could be something. It could be bullying at school, but it can also be some anxiety. I can tell you that my middle child, Kristen, my middleest, I call her, this girl was so anxious. She would call somebody every day to make sure she was getting picked up from school.
Oh, wow.
And they would let her. They would let her go to the office, and they would call, hey, Krista just wants to make sure. I mean, I was late a few times, but not enough to make this child think that I wasn't going to come and pick her up from school. But just things like that, separation anxiety. She was that child who we had to be very careful, because she would run out the house and try to run behind a car. And we quickly learned, and I want everybody to learn, that when it comes to anxiety or depression, like you can't spank that out of your children. It's not going to make them stop worrying. It's probably going to make them worry more. So try not to get their anxiety mixed up with behavior issues. Things like having to use the bath, like upset stomachs all the time, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, can all be headaches. All of those can be signs and symptoms of anxiety in children. Again, everything can be okay at home for these children. It doesn't mean that, that you're not parenting correctly. Some of us just naturally develop. Some of it is genetic, when it comes to anxiety and mood symptoms. So just pay attention, send your children to school, and when the teacher calls you and telling them about maybe some behavioral issues or um, them being sick or just whatever, you do need to build a good relationship from the jump with your child's teacher.
Mm-hmm.
You want all eyes on deck, right? Because they spend a bulk of the day with the teacher. So if you go in there and you attacking the teacher because she comes and tells you some concerns, now obviously you got to make sure they're valid concerns. But we go into these teacher-parent relationships with a trusting mindset. Until somebody gives you a reason not to trust, you gotta be a team. A lot of times they'll give you, like when it comes to ADHD, I think that is what parents, and you guys jump in at any time, that's what parents, they avoid is not the word I'm looking for, but it troubles them the most, even though it's one of the most common diagnoses, please, for your child's sake, for the teacher's sake, and for the other students in the classroom that are trying to learn, investigate that a little bit further. They usually send home what's called a Vanderbilt. They'll give one to mom, one to teacher, maybe one to dad, and now everybody fills out this form, and then the doctor can look at it and see if maybe your child may have, some trouble with ADHD, or if it's anxiety or worry, whatever it may be. But be proactive this year so these kids can have a successful school year. And the take home is definitely going to be that I want you to make sure that your eyes are on your children and that mental health can start in like toddlers.
Yes.
Okay. Lawana, I can't think of Lawana's last name, but she is also a therapist, and she specializes in children. And she spoke one day on anxiety in toddlers. And so I was like, really? You'd be surprised. So I think I'm going to see if I can get some resources from her as well. And anytime anybody needs any resources as far as anxiety or depression, definitely just reach out to me. I may not be able to get back to you right away, but when I can, I will, send you whatever resources I do have. So before we wrap up on mental health and books, anybody want to ask anything else? Because I gotta talk about some up-to-date stuff too.
Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it. All right. So we're gonna move on. First thing we were supposed to talk about, I believe, was I'm still confused with Cardi B. Because some people are saying that the video of her asking for water was after the lady threw the water on her. What videos, like what have y'all heard? Do you know what I'm talking about Cardi with the microphone?
I mean, I know the part about the microphone, and I don't know about the water part, but I don't agree with people paying to go to a concert or a show. Why do you think it's okay to throw a bottle of water or throw some at the person performing? And I don't know.
Expect them not to react naturally.
Exactly.
And expect them not to react naturally. Now, I don't know if it was the water, if it hit her face, because to me it just looked like it totally caught her off guard. It didn't look like it was expected at all to me. So even if I asked somebody, I don't know, maybe she did ask for somebody to pour water on her earlier. That was earlier.
I don't know about that.
That was earlier.
But I don't know. It has been hot, so I might have asked somebody to post the water over me today.
But they have been doing, like, these audience guests in the audience, they have been doing some crazy stuff, throwing stuff on the stage. And, as far, sometimes you go and they tell you to take out your light and shine your light in the sky. But I know that you are not supposed to do, like, even at gymnastics meets, they'll tell you turn your flash off on your phones or turn your flash off on your cameras because it can blind the athletes or whatever. So you just imagine being in a dark room at a concert and you got all these lights on. I can see how it would be. Yeah. And I can see too, if you are at a show And you know how they say, like, you, like, this is your cell phone, right? And you got this whole, because concerts are an experience, right?
Mhm.
Yes, they are.
All right, so let me see your phone.
And they're expensive.
Yeah, and they're expensive. So instead of me like watching this show, I'm like this the whole time.
No.
You really are
You're
not
really
enjoying
not.
the show.
No.
So I could see why they would not want you to do that the entire time. Hey, Valerie, the entire time while you're at a concert. But now somebody taking a picture or two, I think, come on now, let the people take a picture because I'm gonna try to sneak me some pictures.
You could take some pictures. I know me and my sister went to a Drake concert a few years ago, like when he first came out. And we were doing the thing except, the video and taking pictures. And
Mhm.
then me and my sister looked at each other, was like, are we gonna take, like, we need to enjoy the show, like
Yeah.
enjoy the moment. How can we enjoy the moment? It's like, okay, this I mean, it's okay to get a few pictures out the way, maybe when they hit the stage and do some, but yeah, enjoy the moment. Who paid all that money just to be doing this the whole
And
time?
it's not going to be a good video.
It's
Not going to
not.
be, because what you going to do? Go home and rewatch it on your phone?
Absolutely not. They doing the post on Facebook.
Yes. Is that what them people need to go? They need to go to the concert next time and celebrate and enjoy the experience too. Tyler Perry, he was don't bring no phones in here. As they say, he was like real serious with it when he used to have his plays, like
Yes.
walking around the audience trying to make sure nobody was in there. They still managed to get him though. People bootlegged his stuff. But that's a listen, with all the bootlegging that went on, look, the man is still a billionaire, so it still did not cut his pockets anymore. As big of a deal as he made about it
Yeah.
before. All right, so yeah, I don't know. If you throw some water at somebody, you don't never know. Like, yeah, you just don't never know what that person and somebody holding a hard. These things are heavy, heavy. Lizzo, what is going on with Lizzo? I'm so confused. Somebody please tell me the Lizzo story. Anybody know it?
I don't know much about it. I know they say that she was kind of like a mean girl to people in her camp, people that were working for her, but I don't really know the full details of it.
Some of the stuff that people always got to exaggerate. I just cannot. In my mind, because we are all adults, and everybody that she had working with her were adults. So I just like some of the stuff that she would say that they made people. How?
Yeah.
How did she make these people? Like, how could she have that kind of power to make these people do the things that, like, somebody said something about her putting like a banana and then making somebody like eat a banana out of.
That's a bit. That's a bit much.
And bananas is soft and mushy, ain't they?
That is a bit much. I had to stop reading.
Yeah, I didn't know all that.
Yeah, like they really accuse her of some things. Now, for those of you out there in social media world who right now is saying something like, well, that's their business and no, y'all shouldn't be talking about it. It's on social media. And so if it's on social media, that gives us the right to be able to talk about it. It is they're entertainers. So that's what we're doing. We're not judging anybody. We're giving our own personal opinions. And if y'all got some, y'all just chime in. Okay. So Lizzo, we really don't know because we'll just have to wait and see what's gonna happen with that to see as far as lawsuits and everything. What else is going on in social media? What else y'all read about lately?
I'm trying to think. It's been so much on social media.
So much on social media.
Yeah. I'm a shade room. Like a lot of people don't know, that's my guilty pleasure. It's like my newspaper. Like I think before I roll over, I say my prayers and I pull up the shade room.
The shade room to see what's going on.
Yes, it's that serious.
My daughter loves the shade room.
I had to unfollow the shade room because it was taking up too much of my time. I was too invested, but
yes.
Y'all want to talk about
get information
Montgomery?
so quick. Oh, let's please talk about the Montgomery.
I was trying not to break it up.
How did I not think about it? Hey,
I was a little scared to cross that Mississippi Alabama line today.
Honey, listen. When I tell you, literally, I don't care what y'all say. It was enjoyable to watch. It was enjoyable. That man did not have to hit that lady in the head with that chair. My head is still hurting. I think at that point he was like somebody, he just hit anybody that was white.
That's what I said. If he saw white skin, it was like, boom.
Like, you getting it. You getting it today. You finna find out today. But yeah, like that's what they said. F around and found out. A lot of people effed around and found out this way. I think they arrested 3. Was that the real one of the real guys that has that TikTok that's saying like, well, that 65-year-old man can throw some blows or something
with
was
the tissue in his nose.
Is that the
Yeah,
real guy?
I don't know. He was just trolling or.
Oh,
Yeah.
Who beat him up then? I know this man did not beat himself up so he can go viral on TikTok. But there's somebody walking around thinking that right about now because it was so like useless because somebody was telling you what to do that's supposed to tell you what to do. You jump on him. But unfortunately, we kind of do that like in stores and restaurants and stuff like that. Waffle House. We kind of do stuff like that when somebody's just trying to tell you what to do. So that's like a lesson that we all can take. If in somebody's establishment, if they have rules,
follow their directions.
Whoever you are, care what color you are, follow their directions in their establishment. And rules are made because that's what they want. Most rules are made because somebody did something stupid to require that rule to be made. And so you may not see it right now, but just do what they tell you to do in their house. You can't go to other people's stuff and then run it. And that's what they really jumped on this man. Did you see the one that jumped in the water to get away from him? Not the swimmer.
I didn't see the one that got away.
Yes.
It was like, first of all, the police were just standing there, right? Like what they was gonna do with all them people, right? So he was just standing there letting them fight.
It was kind of like,
he was just standing there letting them fight, but then homeboy took it too far.
With the chair.
They'd have probably still been fighting.
Yeah.
We'd still been sitting here like this eating popcorn. They would have still been fighting if dude would have just been able to control himself and not hit that lady in the head with a chair.
Because he got away with hitting the guy.
I know, he hit the guy, ain't do nothing. Because it was and on the top of her. Man, it's got my neck hurting right now. Seriously. That was a hard, with that chair. He did. I wonder if he has any remorse. He doesn't. That man don't care that he hit that lady in the head with the chair right now. He's still sitting there. You found out, didn't you? I bet you won't do that no more. And I'm sure they won't. I know without a shadow of a doubt, white people that did that day, y'all learned y'all lesson. Y'all won't do that again. And black people, I'm so proud of y'all because y'all did come together and y'all took up for each other. And y'all showed them who's boss. You did. So appreciate that. But can't we all just get along?
Yes, I wish we can.
We can.
We can. So we're gonna overcome that situation. It was on the news today. And they arrested three of the guys. I don't. They just said they didn't show the picture. They just said they arrested three people, that were involved in that altercation, and it should have just been the ones who actually got it started. Like they really, that many people jumped on that man. I'm all, I don't condone violence at all whatsoever, but yeah, that was totally uncalled for and unnecessary. All right, so what else is going on? What's one of them good questions I asked? That's what I wanted to ask. One of the questions that I asked on when you look for, are you married?
No.
Okay.
I was.
Okay. When you're looking for a relationship, I don't want to ask that one because I don't know the nature of, I don't want to ask that one. All right. So what I was going to ask, I asked the question earlier this week. You know how girls always, or women, whatever, always say, well, I'm going to find somebody that's just like my dad. You start looking for these qualities of your dad in partners. And so I asked the question because I wanted to know how many people actually found somebody. And my husband doesn't remind me anything of I am so stuck on the fact that these are two different relationships. I think we need to stop comparing moms and wives or moms and girlfriends or dads and boyfriends. They are totally not the same. and totally different relationships. So that is what we will talk about. Do you look at a guy that you may potentially date? Do you look at his relationship with his mom because you feel like how he treats his mom and sisters is how he's going to treat you in a relationship? I'll let you start.
No, because he could have a toxic mother or, not the best relationship with his mother. But I do think, like, to an extent, his respect level for women would, um, determine if I would want to move any further with him, if that makes sense. Like, he may not have the best relationship with his mother, but if he's like cussing her out, calling her the B word, things like that,
Because if he do that, to his mom,
yeah,
I'm
that's
sure he'll do
probably
to you.
not, because you could disagree. Me and my siblings disagree. Me and my mom disagree. Me and my dad disagree, but it's still a respect level there.
Mhm.
So I can't say that for me.
How about you?
Yeah, I would say looks are deceiving, and that has absolutely nothing to do with anything because he can be a mama's boy, and it's some men have some weird relationships with their mom. You
Mhm.
understand what I'm saying? So how he treats his mom, it doesn't necessarily, you will hope, some part of that, but that doesn't actually mean that that will flow over into your relationship. You know what I mean? Because some men have some unhealthy, like I said,
Mhm.
weird relationships with their mom, and it can be something
Mhm.
totally
Mhm.
different when it comes to you. So
You want to know what I've been the most shocked on since I've been writing, like putting these questions up every afternoon? It seems like a lot of women have these mindsets, like we've just come up with these ideas in our minds, and then guys will come up there and answer it, and they're like, no, like none of these guys are agreeing with what these women have in their, like, this mindset that they have about guys at all. Because most of the men on that topic were saying, no, like, you, that would be my girlfriend, that would be, that's not my mother, that's two totally
Mhm.
different
see,
relationships. Yeah,
see what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
it's two totally different relationships. So I'm just saying, and y'all gotta know, like, a guy will curse his wife out, or sometimes they fight their wives, and they do all these things in his relationships to their with their partners that they would never
Mhm.
do to their moms. Wouldn't even never say a curse word in front of their mom, more or less curse their mom out, but it don't mean he's not going to curse you out. You ain't his mama. You
That's
ain't his
true.
mama. Yeah. So I just, that was a good topic for me. I didn't get as many. I think their responses kind of actually stopped when guys started commenting on it. Like, yeah, no, that's two totally different relationships. And then there was one guy that came on there. He was saying the same thing, vice versa as far as women. Sir, let me tell you, uh, the first part of my marriage, if I would have ever talked to my daddy the way I was talking to and treated my husband, I probably would have been missing some teeth or something. And I love my daddy. I love my dad. But I was not the same person to my husband because I love my dad. They were two totally different relationships. So Chris could not look at my relationship with my dad and say, "Oh, well, she really loves her dad. Oh, she's gonna be a really good wife." Lies you tell. Lies. So that was we need to have like a panel. I think I'm gonna set that up where I have like a tech. Let's set that up. We need a men and women panel so we can like
Ooh, that's gonna be
address.
awesome.
Yeah, we need to address these cliches that women have and also that men have about women or men, because we realize we have come up with these scenarios in our mind that just are not, some of them just don't even, and it's not even about as far as an opinion, some of them just don't make any sense. And because we can see it, you can see what happens every day, and we still like kind of hold on to this. Oh yeah, I looked at, you know, he bought his mama a purse, he'll buy me one too. Okay. Okay. So anyway, what time is it? It is. Oh, it's 8:04. We supposed to been out of here.
Oh my gosh.
I did not yet. Okay. Listen, thank you everybody for tuning in. For whoever
Thank
joined
you.
us for the first time on TikTok or Spotify tomorrow morning or Google Podcasts. Thank y'all so much for being the best part of Journey with Trish. We'll be posting some links momentarily, sometime tonight or tomorrow. You can check back and we'll have some resources down in the comments for you. We'll also have these two wonderful ladies also put their links in the comments so you can get some books from them, sign up for some seminars, webinars, whatever they do. And we got to go see
Label.
Yes.
Beyond the Label
Beyond the
in
Label.
December. And I will be there in October for the premiere.
October 28th.
All right. So we're going to go ahead and anybody want anything before I pray?
No, go ahead.
All right. So all hearts and minds are clear. Father God, in the name of Jesus, God, we come to you tonight as humbly as we know how. God, thanking you for everything that you've already done for us and everything that you plan to do. God, we thank you for the knowledge and the talent and the purpose that you've instilled in everyone that is sitting in this studio tonight. We ask you to continue to push them into purpose and for them to continue to walk in it. God, we ask that you keep us all safe from hurt, harm, and danger. And we thank you. We love you in Jesus' name.
Amen.
All right, y'all.
Good
Thank you.
night.
We love y'all. God bless y'all and good night.